So remember last video when I said, speaking of high wool content, I did just get a parcel from Minerva Craft, but I'm not gonna tell you what's in it yet. Aren't I a stinker? It's time to see what's inside. All right, so this package that I got is from Minerva Crafts. They very lovingly gifted me some wool to make a new wool coat. And here's the thing is I told them what my top 3 favorites were. And then, I don't know, I don't get to see, I don't know for sure which one they sent. So this is just as much a surprise for me as it is for you. So we're gonna take a look at what I got, and then we're gonna talk about my plans for my coat and how I am taking 2 patterns and making them into one because there wasn't a pattern that I liked. So we're gonna take a look at that process. But first, let's look at the fabric. Okay, so yes, there is a small hole already in the bag. I wasn't intending to peek. Let's give a shout out to my daughter Mina, who walked through as I started doing the opening and was like, hey mom, did you know that your camera's not on right now? Hooray, she caught it for me. So that's why there's a hole. I wasn't peeking. Oh yes, it is the purple and black tweed. This was my #1 choice. I am so excited about this. It is so soft and lovely. Oh, it's gonna be so warm and it's gonna go so well with the lining that I chose. I went and bought the lining a while ago because it was on sale and it was like ridiculously cheap. So I just thought it would probably go with whichever one I got, and it's a lining at the end of the day. If it doesn't go, well, it's on the inside. I like a lining with some personality, and I see a lot of people going for the quilting cottons for that, and I get it because you can find a lot of fabric with personality with the quilting cottons. The problem is that there's drag there, and one of the big purposes of having a lining is to reduce that drag, have something that is slippy against your clothing so that you're not creating wear and tear. And this is a coat that I want to be able to wear for years and years and years and years. I'm not gonna do a new one of these every year. So I want something that's gonna have a little bit of slip to it. So like a satin or something like that. But I don't particularly like just the poly lining fabrics. I did put that on my last jacket because that's what I had, and honestly, I'll probably one day go back and swap that out because they're sweaty, they're plasticky, they're not my ideal lining fabric. That said, I mean, what I really would have loved was to line this in silk or, you know, something really nice like that breathes really well. But the budget was not there for it. So what I did get was I found this amazing striped fabric. It is a 60% cotton, 40% poly blend, so I'm still gonna get some breathability in there. It doesn't feel plasticky. It has that nice sheen and slip to it so that I'm not gonna have my garments worn down by friction. And if you are looking for a lining that does have that nice sheen to it, that's gonna work its purpose to its full ability, you're like me, your budget is a concern and you don't want to just go for quilting cotton. Y'all, I got this in the curtain department. It's curtain fabric, but it's gonna look so good. And I mean, I don't know, if anybody ever saw the inside of my coat and was like, oh my gosh, I have those curtains, I would just think it was funny. It wouldn't bother me. I'm all about fabric content and what can I do with it, and less about what department in the store I bought it from. I feel like if you can sort of cross departments, then you have that many more possibilities of what you can do. So yeah, this is curtain fabric and I love it. So those are the fabrics that I have to work with. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So thank you, Minerva. I am so excited to dive into this project. If you haven't checked out their website recently, they have just done a massive, massive overhaul, and they've made their website far more social, but also just more inspiring, I want to say. So if you check out their website now, when you go on a page for a particular fabric that you're looking at, if they've had a blogger make something out of that fabric, that post will be on that page. So you can immediately see how that fabric sews up. Also, all of their bloggers have their own pages that are sort of like social pages. And so you can go and follow different sewers that you like their style, you want to see what they're up to. Yeah, I will link it below. I highly recommend checking out the new site. Okay, let's get on to pattern talk. I knew that I wanted to make a nice wool. I don't know why I keep doing this. What is this? So I knew that I wanted to make a new wool coat. And I really love the silhouette of this one. It's the Mccall's M6800. I really like how it's kind of more flowy at the bottom. I feel like it's a more feminine silhouette. I'm not super fussy though on how far down. Like if you look, the collar is open to pretty much like almost level with the apex of her chest. Like, it's winter, I need to be warm. I'm not dressing for open heart surgery. Like I need that to close a little bit more. And the other thing that this one did not have going for it is it does not come in my size. Now, I literally would have to take it up one size, which is not very difficult to scale it up that size. But then we run into the problem that I complain about a lot of patterns being scaled from a smaller size up through the larger range. And having them not really fit. So yes, I could take this pattern and I could adjust the collar and I could scale it up, but because there are those fit issues in scaling up, I would not only have to scale it up, I would also have to do a full bust adjustment, and I would have to do probably a full sleeve adjustment. And that's just a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So I also grabbed this one. It was in the clearance bin, so it's obviously not current, but I would be willing to bet, and before I actually post this, I will check, but you can often find discontinued or older patterns on Amazon. So this is the Butterick B6430, and it's part of the Connie Crawford Modern Fit Ready to Wear Sizing line of patterns. And so this pattern, to me on the model, it looks like the collar is a bit more closed, which I'm loving already. What I'm not loving is the overall silhouette. I want kind of that flowy bottom. So either way, whatever pattern I use, I'm gonna have to adjust something, right? But I think it's gonna be way easier to just make this more flowy, because it's just a matter of like a slash and spread at the bottom of the pattern pieces. And the bust and the arms and everything else is gonna be pretty right on for me. So there's gonna be a lot less adjustments. I'm gonna have to do like my regular length adjustments that I have to do in everything, because basically I'm a giant. But I think it's gonna be less work making the larger one more flowy. So in making this have more drape and flow at the bottom, the big thing to make note of between these two patterns is this one that's already flowy has 10, when you look at the line drawing, there's 10 panels in this coat, okay? So there's 2 in the front, there's 1 under the arm, and then there's 2 in the back, and that's on each side, okay? So there's 5 panels a side, 10 panels in the coat. This one is a 7-panel coat. And where we really need to pay attention is the back panel is gonna make a world of difference in making this more flowy. So the Mccall's has a seam straight down the back, and this one has, where's the line drawing? This one has a wider panel that is just 1 panel through the back. This is actually super easy because all it means is instead of cutting my back pieces on the fold, I'm instead going to just cut them. I'm gonna add seam allowance and I'm gonna cut it like its own piece. The reason I need to do this is because I'm going to slash and spread to get that extra volume. And if I do that on all the other seams, but not anywhere in the back, then I'm gonna have extra volume around the sides and the front and just flat on the back. And that's not gonna look cute, because if anything, I want more volume on the back, right? So how do you know? How do you know? When you want to take a design feature from one pattern, how do you know how much you have to slash and spread without doing like 18 mock-ups to make sure that you've gotten it right? Well, what I did was I pulled out the pattern pieces for this one and I measured at the waist and I measured at the hem. and I divided the hem by the waist. I'm going to do an easy math example here. So these pieces actually go quite narrow because there's so many panels that go around. So let's say one of those panels was 3 inches at the waist and 12 inches at the hem. So I'm going to divide 12 by 3, which gives me 4, right? So what I can do to give myself a guideline for this pattern is I can take the measurement of the waist of each piece and I can multiply the waist measurement by 4 and make sure that the hem is stretched out to that amount. That's just to give you a ballpark, right? Like, I'm totally cool if my coat is not quite this flowy, because part of what I have to take into account too is just how much fabric I have. So that is gonna determine kind of how much extra zhuzh I have in my hem. Okay, so the big plans for this coat. I am going to use this to level up some skills. I have sewn coats before. I have sewn long coats before. Both of the long coats I've sewn were Halloween costume coats for my husband. Last year, y'all would have seen me sew a jacket, which it was a poly blend, but the weight of the material was very similar to what I'm working with here. In terms of leveling up my game, I'm going to actually use proper tailor's canvas this time. And I'm going to tailor the collar and the pad stitching, the whole 9 yards. I'm gonna work on that because those are skills that I want to grow for myself. So I will do a video showing you my experience with that. There's lots of resources. I'll show you in that video what resources I'm using to learn about that. You know me, if I mess it up, I'll show you. But hopefully I don't. And yeah, what else am I going to do? We're going to do tailored buttonholes. So we'll be doing a video on that. So I am going to break down a few small pieces, probably talk about chain tacks in the underarm for lining, because I think that's something that gets overlooked a lot. And various little bits and bobs like that. I'm not going to do like one whole big video of every step I took to sewing this jacket, because there is so much of figuring it out as I go and putting two patterns together, or, you know, redesigning one to look more like another. So yeah, that's kind of what the plan's gonna be. That's what's gonna be coming to you on this channel for the next little while, because I really need this coat. So stick around, and if you haven't hit subscribe, maybe do that. I've noticed in my analytics that most of y'all watching my videos aren't subscribed, so I don't know what you're waiting for, but go ahead, subscribe, and you can come on this little journey with me of getting my coat done, and hopefully you'll learn something. I'm definitely gonna learn something vis-a-vis the canvas, so I'm excited for that. I love learning new things, and that's what's so awesome about sewing. You can never know it all. You're always learning. So I'm excited. I'm gonna get started on my mock-up, and I will see you next week.